Hey, this is Simon. We have a lot of fun with our spoiler section and we want more of you to have access. So we've added the spoiler perk to the Landed Knight tier. Follow the link to buy me a coffee in the show notes and sign up to hear the future. Thanks. Hello, welcome to the Ghosts of Harrenhal. My name's Simon.
And I'm Mackelly.
Thank you for joining us for episode 318 of our chapter-by-chapter book review of A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. Today we're discussing chapter 46 of A Dance with Dragons, which is A Ghost in Harrenhal. Dang it!
There's actually two ghosts in Harrenhal.
Which is A Ghost in Winterfell.
Yes, there you go. And as always, we're going to chat about the chapter and try not to spoil any future plot points for you. And in the news and notes, you'll understand why we try not to spoil any future plot points for you. Unless, of course, you have a Buy Me a Coffee Sustainer tier that includes spoilers, well, then we are going to spoil things for you. But regardless, hopefully we'll provide you some entertainment along the way.
I think we should make the point that you can become a sustainer and not get it spoiled for you. You could do both simultaneously. Yes. It becomes an option to you.
Yes.
We'll summarise what happened, discuss our thoughts on it, provide some useful background, compare it to the television show, indulge in a little pedantry, and cover some relevant news and listener correspondence. Be sure to check out the show notes. They'll provide some additional information about the characters and other things of note in this chapter. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. I'm excited for the kids to come home early next week, so I'm looking forward to that. But in preparation for the kids to come home, we had to have Molly's shower repaired because it was making this odd sound, like water, like thumping in the walls. And so we called in a plumber.
Where was Stacy when this happened?
Well, she didn't get her entire bathroom remodel,
okay,
so she
so
might
probably
have been
not Stacy then. Yeah,
yes. It was just a repair to figure out what was happening. So the plumber came this past Saturday, and he comes into the house. I take him to the bathroom, which is upstairs, and he turns on the water, and he says, "Do you mind if I use your bathroom?" And I was like, "No, it's fine. Have at it." So I shut the door, give him his privacy. It'd be odd if I didn't. Just stood there. So, I go about doing things, and Stacy calls up because you can hear the thumping in the living room, which is directly below it, like the thumping in the walls of the water.
Okay.
So she tells me it's starting to do it. She shouts up the stairs. So I shout into the plumber. We'll call him Roose for the purpose of this story. Roose, do you hear the thumping? And he opens the door, and I'm immediately struck by the realization that he did not go number one while he was in there, which is fine. You gotta go. No judgment here. It was very hard to not realize what had recently happened.
That story makes me laugh quite a lot, just so you know. I'm keeping it together to seem like I'm mature, but I want to giggle a lot. Especially the while he's up there doing that, you're yelling, "We can hear it! It's in the walls!"
So he shuts the water off and turns it back on, and it's not doing it again. And then Stacy mentions that Molly thought she went down in the basement when we heard the thumping when my nephew was using the shower and it first started. That Molly thought she heard noise coming from the water heater, which is in the basement. So the plumber and I and his assistant, who had now just shown up, go down into the basement.
I'm glad you said he just showed up. Was he in the bathroom too?
Right. He kind of came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, he was at the door.
I call him Wiper.
So the three of us are in the basement, and we shout up to Stacy, turn on full hot water so we can get the hot water heater to kick on. So she does that. She's up on the second floor. We're in the basement. She comes all the way down to the basement, pokes her head into the room where the water heater is, and says, "Sorry, I'm trying to hold it together. I lose it at this part every time." She says, is it a big deal that it smells like sulfur in that bathroom? and I, with all the authority that I have in my plumbing expertise, look at her, quickly whip my head to her and say, no. And she goes, okay, well, I'm just saying, it smells like a big fart up there. and the plumber is just straight faced, just like total mask. And so she leaves, and I have to hang out in here with these two guys, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go check and make sure the water, I just got to get out of this room before I lose it. The amount of self-control it took for me to hold it together at that point.
That is fantastic.
So I go up and I tell her what's happened. And she was like, I was wondering why you were speaking with such authority. I was like, we didn't hire you. You're not the plumbing master plumber. Why are you telling me? She thought, like how sewer gas, if like a trap gets dry of water, she thought maybe there was some sort of methane gas leaking out. And she was like, the whole house is going to explode. And I was like, no, that's not the issue.
Oh.
So she kept trying to talk to me while he was here, and I was like, we cannot be in the same part of the house, or I'm not going to be able to keep it together. You are banished from my sight until this man leaves.
Oh, that's joyous. Oh, thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
The thing about that is, it's funny that she said that, because I would have thought Stacey is kind of, she doesn't really, but I mean, because we cherry pick the Stacey stories, the sort of like the comical version of Stacey that we portray has got a big mouth and sticks her foot in it,
Right.
But she's good at picking up on your subtle clues. I'll give her that.
True. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I remember Dan Marino.
Oh yes, right. My twitching cheek.
Twitching cheek was all it took to stop
something
her.
is unique about this guy here. What is it? Oh my, you're Dan Marino.
What?
Yeah, she did not pick up on my no. But she, like, who are you? What are you, the expert? Where did I hire you a fortune an hour to come diagnose this situation? What are you giving me such a
But it didn't used to do that until you came, actually, Mr. Plummer.
Oh man, he's a nice guy. He's a great plumber too, and very affordable rates. So I hope we didn't embarrass him so that he never comes back with Stacey in her
puts
foot in
it
her
through
mouth.
his paces as well. Like make sure it's working.
She said after I said no so authoritatively, she looked over at the plumber like to get reassurance, like this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And she said his face was a mask of stillness, like could not read anything on it. He did not acknowledge that I back me up or anything. And so she was like, okay.
I don't know what the hell's going on down here, but I'm out of here. Well, I got nothing to compare with that. That's fantastic. The only thing I've got is just a slight spoiler for what's to come in this chapter. I was using my voice to text, although my arm's getting quite a lot better now. I'm a lot more able to do things, but I've kind of enjoyed learning how to use voice to text. But it really didn't like the names Yellow Dick and Anus Frey.
I can imagine why. What's wrong with those words? Those names.
It's quite judgmental and censorious as well. It does not allow me to say those words.
Hey, they are men. They these are their names. Oh, that's funny.
All right, well that's really good. Let's get. God, that's too good, Mackelly. That's excellent. Let's get down to business. How did we leave Theon? Because the ghost in Winterfell is Theon. Well, I think so. The chapter's a Theon point POV. Let's put it that way. But I mean, who knows what's going on really?
Right.
Last we saw of Theon, He was resisting the overtures of Abel's women. He was getting spooked in the Godswood and learning of the source of the enmity between Lady Barbary Dustin and the Starks. Mackelly, why don't we give the summary of this one?
Okay. One of Lord Risewell's men is found dead at the base of the inner wall. He would never have been discovered but for Ramsay's dogs, the snow having already buried him. His death is explained away as a drunk who fell from the wall, but Theon is not so sure why anyone would climb to the top of the inner wall just to urinate. The men gossip about little else, many believing that it's a sign that Stannis has spies within the walls. Others discount the idea. Stannis is snowed in somewhere. Yet others suggest he could be 5 feet from the walls and they would never know.
I've just realised that in writing this, there is a character in this book who absolutely would climb the wall to urinate off it, and that is Tyrion Lannister. That is why he went to the wall.
Yes.
Anyway, the snow has raged for days. Ropes are strung across the courtyard so people do not get lost between the buildings. The horses are suffering the most. The stables are overcrowded, and those covered only by blankets are at serious risk. Fire doesn't help as it spooks them, causing more injury amongst the horses. Doomsayers think the gods have turned against them, but others point out that Stannis is suffering even more. A free rider says that Stannis has the Red Witch who might be keeping her fires burning. He's overheard and thrown from the outer wall for his sins. The snowdrifts save his life, but his apparent broken leg will ensure that the cold finishes the job.
We'll be right back.
Hello, friends. Are you ready to make some unforgettable memories? Well, if so, consider the Marriott Bonvoy program. Discover the perfect destination for your summer getaway and unlock exclusive deals on luxurious accommodations. With our affiliate partnership, you'll enjoy unbeatable savings and a seamless booking experience. Don't let summer slip away. Visit Marriott Bonvoy today and make this vacation season one for the books. Use our Ghost of Harrenhal affiliate page to check it all out and buy Bonvoy points or give some as a gift. The link to our page is in the show notes. The lords discuss Stannis' prospects. Theon thinks that Lady Dustin should know better than to tempt the old gods when she says, "Let winter do its worst." Rationing is beginning to affect morale. Theon is joined by one of Abel's washerwomen, Holly. He's suspicious of her, only more so after she tells him that she wants to see the crypts where they could be alone together. He is sure that Abel wants to know how he took the castle, and then it occurs to him that it's so that Abel can get out of the castle. He doesn't blame them, but he wants no part of this.
Theon climbs the walls again and finds the place where the free rider was thrown off. He looks down and considers his prospects should he jump. Not worth it. Not yet. The next day, a Frey squire is found dead. Aenys Frey spreads the word that the man was a drunk and died of exposure, but in Theon's mind that doesn't explain why he was stark naked. Later, a Flint man is found dead, his head caved in by a horse kick. Theon can't help see the parallels to his own time as Lord of Winterfell. Only then he knew exactly who was doing the killing.
The deaths lead to the squabbling of the lords, especially the Freys and Wyman Manderly. It is left to Risewell and Dustin to try and calm things down. Theon sees something new in Roose Bolton's eyes. Might it be fear? That night, the new stable collapses under the weight of the snow. 26 horses and 2 grooms killed. The surviving horses are brought into the Great Hall alongside the men. The next death is one of Ramsay's men, Yellow Dick. His oddly colored part found in his mouth. Roose demands that no word of this reach the common man. But it does. Mm-hmm.
And to be clear, the part that was found in his mouth had been detached from its usual position. It wasn't just super long.
Yeah. Or that flexible.
The hall is intolerable with men, dogs, and horses. But at least there is meat tonight, horse, and plenty of it. It's too tough for Theon's teeth. Roose Bolton demands a song from Abel. He gets the party started, but it spooks the horses, so has to be curtailed. The bastard's boys abuse Theon for a while. When dismissed, he goes outside to avoid them further. He bumps into a hooded man. The man puts his hand on his dagger and calls Theon Turncloak and Kinslayer. He asks how it is that Theon still breathes. Theon shows the man missing fingers from his left hand and says that Ramsay is not done with me yet. The man leaves Theon to Ramsay and walks on. Theon wonders if that might have been the murderer.
He climbs the wall again and finds the world has completely disappeared. All the places he's ever been have vanished. He's trapped here with his ghosts. So many ghosts. He retreats back to his chamber, where Steelshanks Walton finds him and brings him to Lord Bolton, who is attended by Lady Dustin, Lord Risewell, and Aenys Frey. He's confronted with his peregrinations, which he doesn't deny, putting it down to insomnia. Could Theon be the murderer? He denies it, and Lady Dustin has him remove his glove. It is clear that he couldn't be their man. So who? Frey blames Manderley, but Risewell and Dustin point out that all the northern families have reasons to hate the Freys. Bolton is fed up with the squabbling and sends Theon away.
He continues to walk, hoping to exhaust himself. He hears a war horn and beating drum. The name Stannis is whispered by every man. Theon is not excited by the prospect of rescue. No matter who is in charge, he'll still be a pariah. The drums seem just outside the wall. Theon hears various men offer their tactical insights and rejects them all. Theon goes to the Godswood. Again the heart tree whispers his name. He prays to die as Theon, not Reek. He hears Bran's name and sees Bran's face carved in the trunk. His entreaties are overheard by Rowan, Holly, and another of Abel's women. They're definitely willing to make his wishes come true, but first he needs to sing for Abel.
Well, you can definitely see why the next book is called The Winds of Winter.
Is it just to allow us to make the released winds joke over and over again?
Just so it's there for it. Winter's looking pretty rough. This certainly feels like the same storm that's at the end of Asha's chapter, but it's really hard to differentiate. It's just so much snow. There was even snow in John's chapter that was in between them.
Yeah, but it wasn't snowing as hard at the wall as it is here south of the wall. In fact, they were hearing reports of snow south of them. Yeah.
Yes, they had caught a break.
That does happen. It's not completely unknown that it snows further south than it does not snow. This is
right.
But just generally, it's the other way around.
But Asha, at the end of her chapter, she was thinking about how the Bolton force is safe and warm in Winterfell. And surely they have to be better off than Stannis and his force, but Winterfell is certainly no 5-star resort at the moment.
Right, yeah, I mean it's pretty derelict, and they're running out of supplies. They're eating through their supplies. Not as quickly as Stannis will be, but it's definitely... Everyone's losing here. It's just Stannis' army is probably losing faster.
Yeah, and the fact that the stables collapsed and they lost 26 horses, and now the animals and people are all crowded into the hall together along with the dogs. I mean, that's pretty rough scene there.
Yeah, I've got to say, it seems to me like those dogs and those horses in the same place would not be a good mix. That the dogs would spook those horses just as badly as the fire did.
Yeah, you would think.
Because they don't seem like they're very ruly, those dogs.
True. That's for sure. But yeah, we've got men dying. We've got frostbite. We've got scouts leaving and not returning. And the one difference is at least they've got food, like you said. But how long is that going to hold up with them being stuck where they are? The thing is,
it definitely runs out. And so then you leave, right? That would be the plan. If the food runs out, you leave. But where do they go? I mean, presumably, if you head towards White Harbour and that direction, the weather gets a little more clement. You know, coastal places tend to not be as snowy as central places.
True.
And it's further south as well. So that's the logical direction to go. But you're abandoning Winterfell. Stannis could come up behind you and take it, you know?
Yes. They can't let Stannis take Winterfell. Right. So someone has to stay and hold the castle until Stannis has been defeated or in some way.
Jumping around chronologically, but you did mention it. Do you think whoever's committing the murder also sabotaged the stables?
Oh, I had not thought about that. Yeah, that's possible, certainly.
Because it was, as I recall, the stable has a new roof. Yeah, now
Yes.
admittedly there's a ton of snow here, and the new roof might not have been, up to.
And and I think if I'm remembering correctly from the last Theon chapter, the people who built the roof were also the squatters that were living in Winterfell. They might not be master carpenters or architects of any
true.
repute.
So Roose suspected it wasn't going to be a very good roof, and that's why he killed them all.
Yes, he thought they did shoddy work.
Yeah, I'm gonna test those rafters by hanging you from them.
I guess so. Yeah, I had not thought about that. It was sabotage.
Yeah, I didn't. Probably not. It's just it certainly, given that it's one of the things that's gone wrong for Roose Bolton in this chapter, it makes you wonder whoever's sabotaging him. Well, the murders are one thing, but the roof falling is a whole extra level of how many people are sabotaging him here. There could be one murderer, but that one person ain't going to bring down that roof. Well,
yeah,
given enough time, I suppose.
Depending on, on what method they use and what they know about architecture.
Right, or maybe the saboteur just got lucky. That one extra thing happened, and they, makes them look like they're got tentacles everywhere.
We'll be right back.
This episode is sponsored by Audible. To get a free audiobook, or 2 if you're an Amazon Prime member, go to our exclusive URL, audibletrial.com/ghostsharrenhal. You can find the link in our show notes. But there's a random free rider. So the men are debating whether what situation Stannis is in at the moment.
Yeah.
And this random free rider, he says what we've discussed and what we've wondered all along. He says, well, Stannis might be just fine because his Red Witch, she might be able to keep the snow at bay from Stannis and his force. And for that, he is beaten, whipped, and then thrown off of the outer wall.
Breaking his leg, and then he's shot in the butt with an arrow.
So, yes, all that. Yes, and all that as well.
Note to self, don't voice an opinion.
But, yeah, I mean, Melisandre, there might be no one in Westeros more useful than Melisandre right now for anyone who is caught in these snows.
Yeah,
this blizzard.
But doesn't she need fuel just like anybody else? I mean, she has her potions, but when we had our one Melisandre chapter, it was smoke and mirrors. It was chemicals. It was things she could do to trick the unsuspecting. It wasn't really that she can just conjure fire wherever she needs to.
Well, yeah, that's true. Although Jon did mention how she was so warm to the touch.
Yeah.
But, maybe she has means of increasing her body temperature as well.
Yeah, by standing close to fires, probably.
She does spend a lot of time standing very near to fires.
How are you so warm, coming straight from your very hot room?
But it's tough because Stannis lost without Melisandre at the Battle of the Blackwater, and then won with her at the Battle Beneath the Wall. So it's kind of double-edged sword.
And you could also add took Storm's End as well with her help.
Yes,
bloodlessly,
right? Yes, very true. Yeah. So, if you bring her with you everywhere you go, and you keep winning, are people going to claim he's winning because of her? Right. So, is he leaving her behind again to prove this time that he can win without her, whereas he failed last time he didn't have her?
Right, and now he's buried under 50 feet of snow going, I showed her.
That's right.
So Bolton's alliance is definitely unraveling. I mean, like, as Theon says, for the first time he sees a different emotion in Roose Bolton's cold, dead eyes, and it's fear. He is nervous about the way things are going. And I mean, this was always going to fray, if you will, because As Ryswell and Dustin point out, the Manderleys may be the chief suspects in sabotaging this alliance, but they are far from the only people with reasons to hate the Freys. Every single Northern family, with the possible exception of the Boltons, can point to reasons why they would love to see the end of the Freys. So
Yeah.
this was always going to be tense. It was always going to be difficult. And as the situation gets worse, just because they're now having to ration, it's very cold, the prospects aren't great for the long term here, all of this was going to exacerbate it. But now you've got this murderer. The one thing about this murderer is they're pretty even-handed. It's been Freys and Northmen.
That's what I was going to say. It's a Ryswell man and a Flint man were also killed, and they were all lowly men-at-arms, archers, squires, no lords or knights. The most elevated man was Yellow Dick because he was one of Ramsay's boys. So they were all fairly easy pickings. Was the Ryswell man and the Flint man done to throw things off a little bit to keep people guessing that it's not just Freys and Boltons?
Yeah. I mean, it is possible, of course, this became a tit-for-tat thing. You know, like initially the guy literally fell off the wall while he was urinating. And then perhaps a Frey murdered I think the Ryswell was second, right? No, the Flint was second.
The Flint was second, yeah.
Yeah. And then someone went, the Freys are killing us, and went and killed a Frey, you know, and then the Frey...
Could be. Yeah.
Eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind.
That's right. Well, Theon thinks of the missing swords in the crypts, and that the swords, the iron and the swords, were meant to keep the ghosts in their crypts. And so now the ghosts are free to roam the castle and get revenge, is, I guess, why he's thinking about these swords missing from the crypts. And it definitely feels like someone's killing Stark enemies, but if so, Theon himself might want to be careful because, he could be argued as enemy number one in some ways.
Yeah. So then, I mean, we really are jumping all over the place, but that's fine. We're discussing. That's what discussion is about.
That's right.
Do you think then, is the hooded man who clearly knew who Theon was and was aware of Theon's crimes a manifestation of a Stark ghost, perhaps? Both the murderer and a Stark ghost come to life to terrorize everyone. One thing I'll say about this situation is it would be quite easy to be a murderer if you could stay warm on the outside. If you could stay outside and somehow not freeze to death, then lots of unwitting victims will come your way and you'll be able to dispatch them very easily because no one else is going to be looking, because when people go outside, they're going in, on their own because nobody else wants to face the weather. So
invisibility is so poor.
Exactly. Visibility is terrible. So you could be a normal person and act very much like a ghost and be, getting away with murder. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. Do you want to get into the hooded figure now, or do you want to...
Well, tell me what you think then, because I didn't know. I mean, I have no idea. My first thought was Abel, but I think literally in this chapter, Abel is singing when Theon bumps into the hooded man.
You're right.
So it is not Abel. That one you basically could rule out. But we don't know if... I mean, obviously it could be anyone, but it feels portentious.
It does.
Feels like it might be the murderer. But we don't know anybody else inside of Winterfell who would be trying to destroy this alliance.
Right. So, first of all, could this be Stannis' man in the castle? Did Stannis somehow manage to get an agent in the castle? I don't know. We haven't been privy to that. But
was there a hint that he had?
No.
Oh.
Just other than the fact that I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. Someone said Stannis has spies in the castle. Could it be? Possibly, but we don't have a Stannis POV, but we've never heard anything about Stannis getting a man into the castle.
I will say, just thinking that, experimenting that, I would have thought that the best way for Stannis to disrupt this would be to kill a Frey and then kill a Mackelly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right. If it was Stannis, if he knew how much they are at each other's throats, he would have to know about Wendell and his bones.
Yeah, because if either of those two groups leaves this alliance, it's a big loss. They are two of the bigger contingents in this alliance, and they could both leave,
Right. Yeah. And there's certainly animosity building between them while they're in this castle together.
Yeah. There's plenty of fuel on that fire, and the sparks could fly. And the fact that a Mackelly hasn't been killed makes you think maybe it's a Mackelly orchestrated thing.
And that is what Aenys Frey believes, that the Manderleys are to blame here. But as far as the hooded figure, we don't really have anything to go on. The fan theory have had a lot of time. The fan theorists, I should say, have had a lot of time to ponder this and come up with ideas. But most likely, it was just a random guy that he happened to walk past. But it does feel like, why bring this guy up if he is just a random person? So
just saying that the fan theorists have thought of something has made me think of something.
Okay.
Are you ready?
What do you got?
Benjen Stark.
Oh, wow. That would be something. Yeah. That would be really something. I don't exactly. We don't know where he's been for an entire story. He could have easily somehow managed to get here.
Yeah. Why not?
That was not one that I read about.
There you go.
But so
throw that into the mix. Because the reason I thought of him is because of the way he talks to Theon. It's that way he talks to Theon is the one thing that makes him seem not like a Mackelly, certainly not a Frey.
Right.
I mean, maybe one of the northern clans, certainly not a Bolton.
Yeah, well, so some of the more wild theories are that this man is Theon's alter ego. Just a figment of Theon's imagination. And there's a line where Theon says for some reason he wasn't afraid of this man. So people think that maybe that is because he's seeing
Theon
himself.
is the murderer.
Oh, that's... Yeah.
Because that would be the logical conclusion of that theory, if you ask me, that his alter ego is actually doing these murders.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I had not... I don't think I read that anyone had thought about that, but I like that. Yeah. Theon's doing them.
The reason he was a suspect is because he has opportunity, because he's one of the very few people that is wandering the castle unmolested. And he hasn't been murdered.
He's certainly been through enough trauma that he might have a split he might... I don't know what it takes. I don't know the reasons behind split personality disorder, but that he's been
if
through
it's trauma, he
times.
qualifies, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Another option is Septon Shale, who was the Winterfell Septon who was thrown in a well and drowned. People think he didn't drown because he mentioned that he was a strong swimmer. Strong swimmer or not, it's awfully hard to survive being thrown in a well. Theoretical, but
I have a probably idealized view of what a well looks like, but your ability to swim is neither here nor there, I feel, to your ability to survive in a well. Your ability to climb after a horrifying fall, that's more useful.
Yes, you could tread water, but not forever, Another theory is Hollis Mullen, who was a Stark household guard. He was tasked by Cat with returning Ned's bones to Winterfell. So it's possible he might have made it back to Winterfell.
Interesting one.
And now is here, and he maybe, if he is Hollis Mullen, he might be the murderer.
Right. I mean,
makes sense.
Yeah, he fits on several levels. Like, he's got a reason to be there. He's got a reason to not be allied with anyone. And a reason to hate everybody who's there, including Theon, yeah.
Right. Which would explain why he hasn't killed Theon when he sees the shape that Theon is and sees the fingers missing and thinks, torture is better
Right,
for you than
yeah.
a quick, clean death, maybe. Another is Harwin, another member of the Stark household guard, but he's also a member of the Brotherhood Without Banners. You might remember, he was the Northman that rode with Arya until Arya was taken by the Hound. But he was last seen still with Lady Stoneheart.
Okay.
So it's unlikely that he has made it all the way here to the north.
If Lady Stoneheart had sent him to Winterfell, you would think it would have been to kill Theon Greyjoy.
Oh, yes.
Over anybody else,
Right, yes. Regardless of torture.
Right. And also, she wouldn't have known to tell him to sabotage Roose Bolton's forces because that wasn't in place when she dispatched this guy, theoretically. But
right.
Seek out Theon Greyjoy and finish him. Yeah, that might have... But actually, I believe at the time of her death, she thought Theon was dead. Oh, God, that's got to be close. She knew Theon had killed her sons.
The boys, yes.
But whether news of his death... Because he was believed dead quite widely, right?
I do believe, yes. I do believe she had... The news got out about Ramsay Snow at the time coming to the rescue and being the savior and freeing the people of Winterfell from Theon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you're right about that. Then the final option that I'll throw out that I've read was Robert Glover, the brother of Galbart Glover, Lord of Deepwood Mott.
Lady Stoneheart's secret lover, yeah? No, is that right? Who was it that we had them going to live on a beach together and have romance novels? Was that not Glover? No, it wasn't Glover. It was... Oh.
I don't remember.
Oh, man. It's somewhere on the northwest coast of the Riverlands. Who's got a castle there?
Oh, yes. We were talking about Jason Mallister.
Mallister,
right?
Yes, that's right. Sorry. I was getting Glover and Mallister mixed up.
They're close enough. They're both, they're both on the west side of Westeros.
Right, exactly, yes. I was a whole kingdom away, just the north I missed.
Yeah. Well, Robert was last seen by Davos in White Harbor. And he could have tagged along with Wyman. Remember, Robert's the one that was with Wyman when Wyman divulged to Davos, I'm secretly against the Boltons and will align myself with Stannis if you can bring me the youngest Stark boy, whatever his name might be.
And we weren't told what Glover was going to do next, so logically he came along, but we've also never heard him in cahoots or in conversation with any of these senior lords, which he ought to be.
So, you would think possibly if he's one of two who know about the Davos Rickon rescue plan, that he might have stayed behind in White Harbor for Davos to return with Rickon.
True.
But if he came with... It's not for certain that only those two knew.
Right.
Willis is back. Willis is in White Harbor. Maybe Willis knows as well, and he's waiting around for Davos. But if Robert did come and is staying under the radar, like you mentioned, we're not hearing him interact, then the problem is he's a Northman, and most of these people here are Northmen, so he could be identified in the castle full of Northerners.
That's true.
Concern about that.
Yeah. But I do like the idea... The only thing about that I don't like, really, you're right. First of all, he could be identified. They could recognize him. But secondly, if it was a Manderley plot, I think more Freys would be dying and less Northerners.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Especially rank and file Northerners who have no choice but to follow their lords.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's fascinating. Wow. That's really interesting.
He might just be a red herring for us to sit here and conjecture, but he's a neat character, even though he's only in for about one paragraph. A neat character to consider.
But anyway, all of it points to this. There's real trouble in this alliance. I mean, that's the one thing Stannis has got going for him, is that his alliance is pretty tight, apart from the various traitors he's got at his back, but he doesn't know about that, so it's fine. He is. There was definitely some trouble in Paradise for him too, but it was the trouble of, this is a dire situation and now I'm getting concerned about being allied with you. It wasn't, I really hate your guts and I never wanted to be here.
Right.
And that's what's going on here. And Bolton knows it. Bolton absolutely knows that a lot of people here are here purely because of coercion, not because of choice.
Yeah. And the Frey Manderley situation is the most obvious problem. And there's one point where Aenys says, let's march out and attack Stannis. This is even before they hear the boom doom of the drums. They're just talking about that they're stuck here. And he thinks, let's ride out and attack Stannis. Let's take the fight to him. And Wyman says, I'm with you. My knights will ride right out behind you. And Aenys says, oh yeah, close enough to ram a spear through our backs?
But the other part of that conversation that I found interesting, in light of what you told me about your original, when I think it was actually when you spoiled the Frey pies for me,
right.
You said that the fact that they were given horses to leave was seen as what kind of gift is that?
It's a guest gift,
ending guest gift, right, which ends guest rights, and it basically it was something about the conversation that was had between Aenys and Wyman Manderley here made me think, you know what, Mackelly knew what he was talking about there, because Wyman Manderley is absolutely saying, oh no, we honor guest rights. They stayed and they were perfectly fine until I gave them that goodbye gift.
Right, I gave them guest gift, which ends guest right without saying that guest rights was ended.
Yeah.
And he comes real close to almost outing himself while talking to Aenys Frey there, because he mentions the phrase that stayed with him in White Harbor in kind of negative light.
Yeah.
He talks about Rhaegar's slumpy shoulders and Jared being quick to draw steel and Simon being a spy master, and that they only brought back Wendell's bones. It was Tywin who delivered his son Willis, healthy and alive.
Which might be Wyman Manderley just, being down on the phrase, but is a little bit of a concern to me, sort of just generally. If Wyman Manderley gets rid of the phrase and the Boltons and reinstates Rickon as Lord of Winterfell, will he then hope to and arrange to bend the knee of the North to the Lannisters?
Oh, will Wyman do that?
I mean, Wyman won't have that ultimate decision, but
yes, but
he will have get a lot of influence if he manages to arrange all of that to happen. If he rids the North of the Boltons and the Freys and reinstates the Starks, people will see him as a pretty important member of the North.
True.
And if is he actually fond of the Lannisters, or is he just throwing that in the face of the Freys?
I think he was making sure to praise Tywin for Roose's sake.
Ah, very nice.
Because he knows that Roose has been instated as a Warden of the North by the Lannisters, so he doesn't want to disparage them here.
I do think, actually, coming back to what you're saying about Manderley being close to outing himself, I think he's actually playing it quite well. Because there's almost no point pretending to like the phrase. Bolton absolutely knows it, so there's just no point. So you seem less suspicious if you accept it and act on it.
Yeah, that's true.
In small, minor, petty ways, you seem less likely to be doing the big things that seem to be happening.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Pretending to like the phrase seems like you're just being disingenuous.
If you pretend to like the phrase, which no one believes, and bad things happen to the phrase, people are going to think it's you. But if you're bad-mouthing the phrase and bad things start happening to them, you're like, I vent. I don't do this.
Right. Now, do you think... Okay, so we've been talking about how Roose could lose control of the situation if the Freys and Manderleys come to blows. And do you think... And Theon thinks about how the whole world is gone, that only Winterfell exists at this moment, because you can see nothing. You can't access... You can't get out of the castle, theoretically into the castle, although maybe this hooded man found a way. And everything else is gone. It's just Winterfell. Do you think that makes the situation worse, that they're a long way from King's Landing and the Lannisters' support, and that this could be a powder keg that could just erupt?
Yeah.
And Roose could be taken out or something along those lines, because
definitely
this is the new world.
Yeah. I definitely think that you've hit the nail on the head. That feeling of isolation, which Theon noted, is the thing that's going to ratchet up the pressure in there, and it is going to become a powder keg. And actually, if you think about it, it's not a terrible endgame for the Manderleys to instigate a battle, a genuine battle with the Freys, which leads to enormous loss of life. Because even if the Manderleys lose a lot of men in that fight, they're achieving their aim, which is undercutting the Boltons completely and ridding themselves of the Freys at the same time.
Yeah.
And you've got to think, if that fight starts, there will be a lot of Northmen who are like, let's jump in on this one.
Yeah, the Freys are universally hated in the north. So.
Yeah.
And the Boltons are universally not loved in the north.
And that's the thing, you see, that battle comes to an end where the Freys have been completely killed. There's no Freys left. The Manderleys have lost half their men. And the Flints and Risewells and Dustins have also lost a few men killing Freys at the same time. Then Roose Bolton looks over the field and says, well, that's great. And then they start looking at him and saying, why are we afraid of this guy again? Exactly, is it?
And maybe the murder of Yellow Dick is the first sally of such a insurrection. He was an unlikable man, but he was one of Ramsay's men. So,
right.
That was a direct affront without attacking an actual Bolton. That was could be considered a direct affront to the Boltons.
Yes, certainly the closest they came to losing a man, which technically they did. Yeah. As we said in the recap, Theon is initially a suspect, and of course, until we started this discussion, I was just going to discount that, as the lords do when they see what a shambling wreck of a man he is. I mean, man, that's a good alibi. I've got no hands and I'm completely useless. I mean, very few people would see him as a mass murderer. But now you've made me think it might be him. Actually, he might be the one.
His alter ego. Yeah. I had not thought about that he could be the murderer. He could be the murderer and not even realizing that he's being the murderer. Yeah,
even better alibi.
Yeah.
There's some other guy. But actually, tell you who I think the murderer is. I think it's Abel's women. That's who I think the murderer is. I think those are the logical ones, because there's so much going on. It would be very difficult for one person to orchestrate it, unless they are a complete outsider like this hooded man might be.
And we have seen Abel's women off alone with men, so
giving them opportunity.
They have opportunity.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. They're the logical one, and of course they have failover, which gives them cover. No, we were right here in the room when you saw this. Well, 5 of you were, but I don't remember which 5 it was.
Right. Yeah, and at the end of the chapter, when Theon mentions the murders, they say, "We're just washerwomen. We're just here to do the things, not kill people."
I believe that was the same paragraph in which they told Theon they would grant his wish of death.
Yes.
So
right.
Their argument was sort of self-defeating at that point, I felt.
Yeah, and these are spear wives, so they know how they're handy with a sword and a dagger. But Roose doesn't believe that Theon has it in him to betray Ramsay, and that has been true, but it's becoming less true each day.
Yeah, he's plotting his own escape, for sure,
He's considering it, and Ramsay keeps threatening more flaying when it's all over, taking his lips, taking the rest of his fingers. That, coupled with the freedom of the castle and sort of being home in a way, he thinks is this the best home he's ever had. Mm-hmm. It certainly makes the possibility of escape or betrayal more of a reality than in the past.
The one counter to that, of course, is the weather, because as he looks out and sees that they are in this isolated bubble, where do you escape to? You know, it's a death sentence to just walk out the door, you know.
Right. Yeah, that's very true.
So when he's in the Godswood, he hears his name again. Man, he must feel haunted. You know, he must feel haunted when he goes to the Godswood and the Godswood says, Theon, Theon. I mean, like, that can't be good for you. He's probably quite fragile anyway, and that can't help. But
we know.
But this time he sees Bran's face in the tree. So do you think this is his imagination? Do you think it's the Godswood doing something? Or do you think Bran might be trying to reach out and communicate with him?
Yes. Now I'm starting to believe that maybe something is up. This is the second time, the first being after the wedding when he heard his name.
Yeah, which, as I recall, that was directly after a Bran chapter. I think it went Bran, then the wedding. And so we were led to believe Bran was just learning how to see through the Godswood trees.
Yeah, it was very close, if not back to back. Yeah.
This time we haven't had that sort of primer, but here we got direct evidence he thought he heard Bran's voice and he saw Bran's face.
Yes. And, you know, the question then is whether Bran, might be proving Brynden wrong about not being able to contact people. I wish we had another Bran chapter in the book to find out if Bran has been trying to reach Theon.
Right.
Now, I think what Brynden was saying specifically was you can't contact people in the past. Maybe you can contact them in real time.
Right, yeah.
So it could be a distinction there that needs to be considered.
But we've also seen Bran perhaps achieved that thing that you're ruling out as well, because didn't we see Ned cleaning his sword and reacting to Bran?
Yes, we did.
Maybe Bran is just better than Brynden. Sorry, Bran.
Maybe.
That's why you're getting put out to pasture, my friend. You're going to go and live upstate on a nice farm.
got a younger, better greenseer coming in.
So the chapter ends with the washerwomen, 3 of them. Not 1/3 of them, talking to Theon again, and they overhear his prayers, and his prayer is basically that he dies as Theon, not Reek, and they're like, oh yeah, don't you worry, we can definitely arrange that. But they want something from Theon, and literally what they say is that they want him to sing for Abel. But he, earlier in the chapter, inferred that what they want from him is his intel on Winterfell, and specifically how he got it, how he won Winterfell, because he believes that they're looking for an escape route and that his intel might give them that. Agree?
Yeah.
Do you see it that way?
So this is their second attempt. It actually is second and third attempt.
Right, I was going to say, yes.
Yeah. The second attempt is during a meal when Holly comes up to Theon and mentions that she would like to see the crypts.
By the way, can I just mention the name Holly? I always find it gives me like heart flutters.
Really?
When Lucas was born, Holly was on our short list of names for a girl.
Oh.
I've always had a soft spot for it, and when this character was called Holly, I just pictured her being like super sweet and kind and nice. And
just last week you were talking about how you were a little sad to see all the the possibility of those names
blink out of existence.
Yeah.
Was that really last week?
That was. I'm pretty sure that was the blind girl chapter, because we were talking about all the things Arya could do, and
right,
as she makes choices, other things will be eliminated.
Yeah, well, Holly was one of the very, very short list of girls' names.
What about Rowan?
Rowan wasn't.
That was the first of Abel's women.
Third Abel's woman was not a name either.
Third Abel's women. That's probably for the best.
Probably for the best.
That's a mouthful.
That was on the long list, obviously, but not the short list.
But asking about the crypts does seem like she might be exploring that as a possible way to get out of here. Maybe there's an exit through the crypts.
But actually, I thought she was kind of like trying to lure him sexually to the crypts in order to get some other piece of information. I don't think she really thinks the crypts are a route out, but maybe I'm wrong about that, you know?
Well, it's the crypts in general, not a terrible idea. I was thinking about this when I was pondering what she might mean by wanting to see the crypts. What if they can't get out of the castle, but they can steal Jane, who they think is Arya, and hide in the crypts like Bran and company did during the sacking of King's Landing? They could, during the sacking of Winterfell, they could either keep some of the Abel and some of the women up top and have them sneak food to Jane and maybe one or two of the women, or they could, try and stockpile food and stuff in the crypts. There's 4 levels, and it's pitch black. You'd think they would be able to hide down there as long as they wanted to.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's history repeating itself, of course, because that's how Bran survived.
Yeah,
but
right.
And also, there's also the fact that the door is sort of self-concealing with rocks jumping on and off it at whim.
It's true. Thanks to Seth for pointing that out.
Still like that. Yeah, possibly. But you see, I don't think this is it. I don't think they're looking for a way out. I think they're looking for something else, but I can't put my finger on what it is. I mean, I think, if I had to guess, if I had to speculate, they are looking for, he has access to Jane.
Yep.
And they probably know that Jane is not Arya, but at the same time, she is their mission.
Yes. If Abel is Mance.
If Abel is Mance, yeah.
Then Arya is the mission.
If Abel and these 6 women happen to be Mance and the 6 spear wives who came south to hunt for Arya, again, seems fairly confident that would be the case, then he has access to Jane that nobody else has. And so that's what I think it's about. I think they want to get to Jane to try and rescue her in the belief or well, we're here, we might as well save that girl, even though she's not Arya, or belief that she is Arya.
Yeah, because I don't know that they have any reason to not believe that she's Arya. They don't know anything that would prove otherwise. 5
minutes of gossip with any Northman.
Right. Have you ever spent time around Arya? Does she in any way remind you of this girl here?
I mean, it does feel like if she were to talk to, I mean, think about those spear wives. They're hooking up with these individuals and sort of like probably picking their brains before they murder them. They probably have picked up on the fact that there's a lot of skepticism that really is Arya. But whether it is or not, there's a lot of unhappiness that she's crying,
Yes, that part definitely true. Yeah, so, okay, let's say they are... At the end of the chapter, Theon is basically taken at sword point, dagger point, to Abel. That he has no choice. He's going to go talk to Abel. If so, and if this conjecturing that we're doing right now is correct, will Theon divulge that this Jane is not actually Arya? If Abel says, we're here to rescue Arya Stark.
That might be something he does do to save himself. Because if they say, you're going to help us rescue Arya Stark, then to avoid crossing Ramsay, he might say, well, I would, but that ain't Arya Stark.
Yeah, right. That's true. Because either he's going to betray Ramsay and help them, if all this is accurate, help them betray Ramsay, or he's going to say, that's not Arya, you are wasting your time, and not betray Ramsay. So, it's coming to a head, possibly.
Yep. So, I've got one stupid question for you, possibly. Maybe I'm dumb or something, but the heck are these horns and drums?
Yeah.
It feels like they're under siege.
does, but no one can see anybody out there.
Right, no one can see anybody, and it's causing pandemonium inside, which of course it would, and even more friction. Maybe it's this hooded guy. Maybe he's just out there now with a drum and horns and just...
He's like one of those one-man bands where he's got like the horn attached to the drums.
Meanwhile, murdering someone and chopping down architecture.
The guy can multitask, that's for sure.
So, do you know what it is? Because I was really taken by surprise by that. I mean, I can't believe it's Stannis. It just doesn't feel conceivable that it's Stannis. He was making no progress every day, when we left him.
The last Asha chapter, he was not making... He was stymied. He was stuck in that village.
Right,
so,
and actually, by the weather, these kind of coincide as well.
Right.
The whiteout basically happens.
Could be the same storm.
Same storm.
Yeah. Right. So, well, there's one clue. The fact that scouts are going out but not returning.
That is true.
Makes you think someone might be out there preying on these scouts. It definitely feels like some force is out there and unseen in this blizzard, but it can't be. Well, I was going to say it can't be that large, but you literally can't see to the outer wall.
To the outer wall.
There could be 100,000 men
on the
other side of that outer wall. So they would be coming out of the Wolf's Wood, Stannis, which is in the right direction. But like we said, it just doesn't make any sense. So who else could it be? Well, the Karstarks are supposed to be coming to join with Stannis, but they're secretly in alliance with Roose. So why would they be out there blowing horns and drums unless they're trying to say, hey, let us in.
Possibly,
we're freezing out here.
Hey, we've looked for them to betray them, but we couldn't find them anywhere.
Right, so we're cold and hungry. Let us in. Another group that is heading to Stannis is Crowfood Umber, and his force is heading to Stannis. Now, they have aligned with Stannis, and we have not heard. The only thing we've conjectured and heard rumblings of is that the Umbers are playing both sides.
Right.
Because they've got...
the great jump.
Because one brother is backing Stannis and the other brother is backing Roose so that they can be right however it turns out. They could... Crowfood could be out there banging drums and such.
It's not the others, right? I mean, that wall is still standing and everything. Yeah.
I think so. Okay. Last we checked. So we just don't know yet. We don't know anything more than Theon, but those are about the two parties that we know are out there.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be Tycho Nestoris out there trying to find Sid. He's just trying to be found.
Yeah.
He's just banging drums hoping someone will find him.
Well, that was fun. That was good to discuss all that. I'm glad we did.
Absolutely.
Normally we have more discussion points than that, but actually I thought having sort of like just a handful of discussion points with fascinating insights from the world of making stuff up because George Martin refuses to was actually very beneficial. So it's time for spoilers. Remember, if you join us at the upper tiers of the Buy Me a Coffee Sustainer levels, you can get the spoilers and you can try them for 7 days if you want to give it a chance. All right, excellent spoilers. How about some background?
Okay, well, again, it was very thin in this chapter. As
basically, take your pick of the dead. That's all you got, really.
Well, yeah, one of the men murdered in the chapter was a crossbowman sworn to the flints.
Although I do actually like the idea of you doing sort of like an architectural digest of how a stable roof should be built in snow. You know?
Right. Well, maybe I'll work on that for the next Winterfell chapter. And if you're thinking, so this crossbowman was sworn to the flints, and if you're thinking to yourself that you swore there were flints mentioned in the last Asha chapter in support of Stannis, well, you're not wrong, because there are actually 3, possibly once 4, separate flint houses in the north. The most powerful is House Flint of Widow's Watch, whose seat sits way out on the end of a peninsula on the eastern shore of the north. Wyman Manderley told Davos that if Wyman declares for Stannis, that these Flints would follow, And I don't believe they're present here in Winterfell, as the lady of the house was pregnant and there was a sickness running through the house. And there's been no mention of that particular branch of Flint's being present. And although that house might be the most powerful, another branch claims to be the oldest. And that distinction belongs to the Flints in Stannis' camp, the Mountain Clan Flints. They are likely also what remains of a previous branch of the house. House Flint of Breakstone Hill was once First Men Kings, and are now either extinct or have become the Mountain Clan Flints. The final branch of the house, the ones here in Winterfell, is House Flint of Flint's Finger. Their seat is on the southern west coast of the north, not that far from the Neck. Their stone hand sigil has been seen both at Barrowton and here at Winterfell.
See, so I got to wonder then if the Flints are loyal to the Starks.
Yeah,
I've got to think if I was Wyman Manderley and I wanted to increase my influence at the expense of the Freys, that I might talk to the head of that Flint house and say, you know what, the Starks aren't gone, and I'm going to bring one back. Are you with me?
Yeah.
All we got to do is get rid of the Freys, and we.
Yeah, I think if Davos can recover Rickon.
Yeah, exactly.
Those kind of conversations might begin happening.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, but bank on it. I mean, that's the thing. That's the plan. The plan is we know where Rickon is. We're going to bring him back. We know that this is an imposter in bed with Ramsay. So we're going to bring a real Stark back and have a real. But in order for that to happen, you've got to help me. You've got to betray the Boltons and stick with me.
Yeah. I don't know that Wyman knows that Jane is not Arya, though. I don't think he knew her
well
enough.
And so that's difficult because the thing is, Boltons can point to the fact there is a Stark in Winterfell. She's the Lady of Winterfell. So yeah. Right, comparison with the television show, there's no real equivalence here. Most of this portion of the story is spent with Theon and Ramsay's bride in conversation. She's trying to convince him of his path to redemption, his birthright, etc., and him flitting between being Reek and Theon. He eventually reveals to her, and I'm sort of being vague about who that is because, I don't know, I still think it might be a spoiler for the book. Why not? We don't know where the book's going. Yeah. He eventually reveals the truth to her about the murder of the Miller's boys, which is, of course, enormous news to this lady.
Yes.
Because she's Sansa Stark, and so she finds out her brothers aren't dead.
Yeah.
So there's no Abel, no washerwomen, no Bolton bannermen squabbling, no murders, no communing with Bran. No, none of that happens. So the gist of this chapter is completely absent from the TV show.
Sure.
And the subject of things being absent, pedantry corner.
I got nothing.
Yeah. I don't know how cold it has to be to completely white out the world, but it seems plausible to me.
Sure.
News and notes. So there's interesting news in the world of high finance and media.
That's right. Well, apparently all Netflix, and I was one of them. I received this email. You might have too if you're a Netflix subscriber.
It's not in my name because I haven't seen it, but I'd read that they were trying to buy.
Yes. Well, us Netflix subscribers got an email from the streamer recently announcing its purchase of Warner Brothers. The deal includes HBO and HBO Max. So it's too early to tell, but that very well could have an impact on the future of Game of Thrones spin-offs and A Song of Ice and Fire based shows in general. What that will be remains to be seen, but speculation is already running wild. Like, for instance, will we get episodes in binge style all at once? I hope so. I really like to watch shows in that manner rather than waiting a week at a time. Will the high production quality we're used to with A Song of Ice and Fire content be reduced? That I certainly hope not. That would be a really bad thing.
Yeah. But it's a tricky one, that, because I associate Netflix with, a little lower tier in terms of their production values but lower cost, churn stuff out, maybe we get more content that way. But yeah. That's not a recipe for success, though, is it really?
I agreed. And maybe they'll just let HBO do what HBO does best,
Right.
which is
HBO have been bought
programming.
so many times and yet keep doing what they do. Oh, I will say, though, I think HBO have tailed off. They still do what they do, but they're not as prolific with it as they used to be. They were never prolific, but they used to have a steady stream of things, and now it feels just a little thinner, you know.
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Luckily, I get it for free through my
I do too. Yeah.
phone subscribe, my
too.
phone plan. So otherwise, I would not pay for it right now.
I did hear though
except
that
for
a
when their
rival
shows
bid
are
has
out.
come in for this, so it might not go to Netflix after all.
Oh, I had not heard that. Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's what I thought I read. Yeah,
Netflix jumped the gun with that email.
Yeah,
possibly.
I mean, it's definitely interesting. One thing I'll just mention at this point, actually, I don't know if you've watched it, but I've been watching what's the Amazon show about Lord of the Rings?
Rings of
Power.
Rings of Power. Yeah.
Have you watched it?
I watched the first couple episodes. I couldn't get into it, so I never kept going.
So that has really high production values, and they spent a lot of money on it. And it's IP that I utterly adore. I mean, I couldn't have been more excited that they were doing this, because I was like, oh, thank God, you know. It is unwatchable. I have been trying for 6 months to get through that second season, and the first season was terrible. The second, it's beyond awful. I just don't know how you can make it. I don't know how you can spend that much money and make such bad television.
Wow, that's rough. I couldn't get into it, like I said, so I'm with you. I got through about 2.5 episodes and I was like, nah, this is just not good stuff.
The second season is just like there's various POV characters sort of around Middle Earth, all of them on random quests that don't seem to make any sense, and nothing hangs together. It's awful, and there's some terrible casting too. Like the guy who plays Tom Bombadil is a famous British actor, and he's just an awful choice. He's a good actor. I like him in things he does, but he's a terrible choice for Tom Bombadil. It feels like I remember my father was a school teacher, and he used to take part in the school plays when they needed an adult character in a school play. My father would take that.
That's cool.
Yeah. But he really loved it. He loved doing that kind of thing. I remember they put on Finian's Rainbow, and he played Finian, the basically the drunk Irish guy. My dad was like really in his element for doing this. His acting, the guy who plays Tom Bombadil's acting in the Rings of Power, reminds me of my dad. I mean, like, just it was fun and we had a good time, but I wouldn't have thought he would get a job as a professional actor.
Right. Little did he know he could have been Tom Bombadil. Oh, well, maybe one other benefit will be that the show Game of Thrones and such, House of the Dragon and Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, will find their way to Netflix, opening up to a whole new audience.
That's true.
And maybe that audience will go looking around for podcast related content.
Yeah, I also hope, you know, a show that I enjoyed but not loved on HBO was Westworld, and they've taken it off there. You haven't been able to watch that for a long time. So I wonder if that might come back, because I think they've been trying to sell it to someone, because that's why they took it off their own platform, you know.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. I did watch Westworld. I did not know that it was gone even.
And we have a review from Danny Mullen 20 at Apple Podcasts US, and it's called The Only Podcast I Listen to, which is
high praise.
It's the only podcast I listen to as well.
Me too.
I'm not a big podcast listener, but I found this podcast when I started reading the books for the first time earlier this year. There's so much detail that you miss on a casual read through, and this is a perfect companion podcast, even for a first read, as there are no spoilers. If you watch the show and want to get into the books, this podcast is a must listen to understand each chapter and the background in it. When I catch up to present day, I'll probably just re-listen from the beginning again, because it gets me through long work days. I love hearing about Simon and Mackelly, and he takes 3 very amusing stabs at Mackelly's.
Got it right on the third one.
The third one is correct. Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
I love hearing about Simon and Mackelly's and their lives at the beginning of each episode. It's like a time capsule of the last 6 years through the pandemic, major events, etc. Overall, the podcast is a joy to listen to, and I'm glad I started reading A Song of Ice and Fire just because it led me to the podcast. Thank you. How great is that review? That is so touching to hear all that because he is Danny Mullen 20 is actually the target audience because yes. I think the perfect time to listen to us is actually read it for the first time,
right?
And that's why
the original reason. Yeah. It's why we don't do spoilers. Yeah. Exactly. We wanted a reading companion.
Yeah.
And so to hear that Danny is reading it in that, listening to us and reading in that style, just is fantastic. I couldn't have written if I was writing my own.
Yeah.
Review.
I know you didn't fake this. That's way too good for you.
Danny, thank you. This is an amazing.
And that last sentence,
greatly appreciated.
He's glad he's reading one of the great works of high fantasy because it got to our podcast. I'm like, whoa.
Oh,
that's a bit much.
I'm blushing.
Yeah.
I'm blushing.
All right, let's conclude this one. So someone or someones are doing a fantastic job of disrupting Bolton's already tenuous grip on Winterfell.
Yeah, sure are.
And I think Stannis doesn't even have to show up. Stannis should just go back home. Let this lot kill themselves.
Yeah, he should have just stayed at the wall.
Yeah.
Because there's just these, what was there, 4 deaths?
I think there might have been a 5th.
3. 5th was there. There was the Flint, the Risewell, the Frey, and Yellow Dick. So at least 4. But because the one guy was thrown off the wall.
I'm thinking of the thrown off the wall guy who didn't die.
He was willingly thrown off the wall. These 4 deaths have rattled the stability inside Winterfell, and it's only getting worse as food gets more scarce and things like buildings collapsing around them happen. So and Theon's world has narrowed down to just Winterfell, which of course then traps him with the ghosts and memories of his sins and crimes. But I really like your thought that he's actually literally seeing himself disembodied and perhaps is living 2 separate lives, one as Reek and one as Theon the Avenging Angel. Yeah, and he speaking of him being trapped here with the ghosts and memories of his sins, he sees the comparison between his time as the Prince of Winterfell and Roose's time here in Winterfell. Because when Theon was the Prince of Winterfell, there was a rash of mysterious deaths as well. Yeah. And those were actually Reek, who turned out to be Ramsay, killing the men who were with them when they killed the Miller's boys and who knew that the Miller's boys were not the Starks, dead bodies.
Wouldn't it be perfect symmetry if it was Reek killing these people?
Oh, yes, it would. Mm-hmm. Reek being Theon and his alter ego. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like it.
Yeah. So what these horns and drums are anyone's guess. I mean, I don't think it's Jeremy. The walls of Winterfell survive.
That's right.
If it is Stannis, then I really feel for Tycho Asteris. He's the one I really worry about because now he's got to walk all the way from the wall to Winterfell just to pass on this message.
And he's headed, last we saw, he was headed toward Deepwood Motte.
Oh, God.
Because
that's taking the direct route.
That's where Jon was sending him. He's going in the wrong direction first.
Yeah.
But then we get to another mystery, which is Bran sort of successfully communicating through the weirwood?
Yeah.
It's advancing. It wasn't Sansa's face and voice that he saw and heard in the weirwood. It wasn't Rob's or anyone else's.
Right.
It was Bran's.
Right.
The one person we know is seeing through those same eyes.
Yeah. If it was purely a figment of Theon's imagination, it might be the miller's son he saw.
True.
Not Bran.
Yes.
The one he actually murdered.
Hadn't thought of that.
And Abel is going through a lot of trouble to get to talk to Theon. Whatever he wants to talk about must be pretty important.
Yes. He's he's been ratcheting it up. He tried Rowan, that didn't work. He tried Holly, that didn't work. So he tried 3 women and some sharp daggers. that seems to be have more impact. Yeah. Yes.
All right, so we're done for this week. Next up, we have Tyrion, who presumably, knowing Tyrion, has silver-tongued his way out of the shackles that beckoned when we last left him.
That's true. They were at a tough looking spot.
No, wait. He's probably got even less teeth. That's probably
That's another possibility.
There are 3 ways that you can help us out. You can leave us a review and a 5-star rating like Danny Mullin 20 did. If you can leave one like that, it'll get read out here, let me tell you. I get printed out and put on my wall.
Right away.
You can buy us a cup of Arbor Gold at buymeacoffee.com/ghostharrenhall. There you can become a sustainer at any of the various levels. There's a tier to match your budget and interest, and you can try any of the tiers for 7 days. Or you can make a donation directly to our cause through our website, ghostsofharrenhall.buzzsprout.com.
And if you're looking for more ways to interact with us, well, one thing you can do is you can send us a text. The link is at the top of every episode's show notes. Just please keep in mind we have no means of responding, but we do enjoy reading them. If you're interested in keeping up on the latest Ghosts of Harrenhal news and developments, well, you can check us out on our social media. You can follow us on Twitter at Ghost Harrenhal. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, and YouTube.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.